Most men think attraction is about looks or charm. But here's the truth. Connection begins long before a touch ever happens. It starts in the mind, it grows through trust, and it lasts only when both hearts feel safe. Today, we're not talking about games or trick borwildren. We're talking about understanding, the kind that makes a woman feel seen, respected, and emotionally open. These are the 3 keys that every man should know, yet almost no one teaches. When someone feels emotionally safe, their guard drops. Real attraction cannot exist where fear, pressure, or judgment live. Safety is created when you listen without fixing, when you give space without pulling away. It means being calm when the other person is unsure, steady when emotions rise. The brain releases oxytocin, the trust hormone, only when it feels secure. So before words or gestures, focus on creating peace. Make her feel that with you, her feelings are valid, her voice matters, and her boundaries are respected. That's when real connection begins. Presence is more powerful than perfection. You don't need fancy lines, you need focus. When you talk, be fully there. No phone, no distraction, no half listening. A woman feels seen not by hearing promises, but by noticing your attention. Your eyes, your tone, your calm energy all tell her that you are not rushing, not performing, simply being. Presence turns ordinary moments into memorable ones. Psychologically, presence lowers stress hormones and builds subconscious trust. In that quiet space, connection feels natural. Connection deepens when emotions match rhythm. If she's sharing joy, join her excitement. If she's sharing worry, meet her with empathy, not solutions. This balance of emotional resonance is what makes people feel understood. Humans mirror each other's feelings, it's how we bond. When you reflect her emotions honestly, she feels alignment, not control. That alignment is the invisible bridge that leads to closeness and lasting desire. The secret to sparking connection isn't hidden in appearance, it's in awareness. Emotional safety builds trust. Presence creates value. Resonance builds depth. Real connection is not manipulation, it's mindfulness. It's understanding that desire grows in peace, not pressure. When you master these 3 keys, you stop chasing validation and start inspiring genuine attraction. So remember, don't chase moments, build meaning. Because when a woman feels seen, safe, and understood, everything changes. Let me tell you something that most men never hear growing up. Emotional safety isn't built in one moment. It's built over time, through small signals the brain keeps collecting. Every time you react with patience instead of anger, your partner's nervous system learns one thing: I'm safe here. And that single feeling, safety, is what allows intimacy, attraction, and desire to exist. Because when a person feels unsafe, their body goes into defense mode. The heart rate increases, the body releases cortisol, the stress hormone, and the brain literally blocks the pathway to relaxation and connection. That's why so many relationships fail even when there's chemistry. Because chemistry without safety becomes anxiety. Now think about it. How many times have you seen someone pull away even when they liked the person? It's not because attraction died, it's because safety never lived there. If you want someone to open up to you, don't push harder, create peace. Safety doesn't come from control, it comes from consistency. The tone of your voice, the way you listen, even your silence, it all communicates whether you're someone who protects or someone who pressures. When you respond calmly during conflict, when you say I understand instead of you're overreacting, that's when the emotional door starts to open. And that's when attraction goes from surface-level curiosity to deep connection. Because the truth is, people don't fall for the most exciting person. They fall for the one who makes their heart feel calm. Presence is rare today. Everyone's multitasking, scrolling, half listening, half living. But presence is what separates momentary attraction from emotional gravity. When you give someone your full attention, something magical happens. They feel seen. And being seen is one of the most powerful emotional experiences a human can have. You don't need to say the perfect thing. You just need to be there when it matters. Let's say she's telling you about a hard day. If you're nodding but checking your phone, your energy says you're not important right now. But if you lean in, maintain eye contact, and let silence hold space, your energy says I'm here. I care. That's presence. That's what turns a conversation into connection. And neuroscientifically, presence regulates mirror neurons, the part of the brain that syncs emotions between people. When you are grounded and calm, her body mirrors that calm. This is how emotional alignment begins, subtle, invisible but powerful. Presence isn't about talking more, it's about being more aware. It's not about grand gestures, it's about small consistencies. And in relationships, presence is the difference between feeling loved and feeling alone next to someone. Every human wants to be understood, not analyzed. And that's where emotional resonance comes in. When you listen, not to reply, but to feel what the other person is feeling, you create a bond deeper than logic. Imagine this. She's talking about a childhood memory that still hurts. Instead of saying, "Don't worry, it's in the past," you say, "That must have been hard. I get why it still stays with you." That single moment shifts the entire emotional atmosphere, because you didn't fix her pain, you felt it with her. That's resonance. And when emotional resonance happens, something in both hearts relaxes. The nervous system recognizes safety, and attraction becomes emotional warmth, not tension. Let's talk about the biology behind this. When people feel emotionally close, their brains release oxytocin, the bonding hormone. Oxytocin reduces stress and increases trust. It's literally the reason you feel calm around someone you love. But oxytocin doesn't come from physical touch alone, it's created by emotional understanding. A genuine smile, a patient tone, a consistent presence. Each moment triggers micro doses of safety chemicals in the brain. On the other hand, when someone feels judged or unsafe, their brain releases cortisol and adrenaline, which blocks openness, pleasure, and empathy. So, real desire, the kind that lasts, comes from emotional alignment, not physical performance. It's not about making someone want you. It's about helping them feel safe enough to want to connect. Let me ask you something. Have you ever met someone who didn't look like your type, yet you couldn't stop thinking about them? Something about their energy pulled you in. Not loud, not flashy, but magnetic. That's not coincidence. That's emotional synchronization. See, desire doesn't start in the body, it starts in the brain. When two people emotionally align, through humor, understanding, safety, and calm, the brain's reward center lights up like a signal saying this person feels right. That's why confidence without connection often fails. Because real attraction is not just visual, it's neurological. And here's the thing. When you focus on emotional understanding, you don't just make someone like you help their nervous system feel seen, accepted, and safe. That's what ignites deep, lasting attraction, the kind that doesn't fade after a few days. Real chemistry isn't about sparks, it's about safety that feels exciting. Communication is not about how much you talk, it's about what your words do when they land. Most people think attraction is built through looks or status, but the truth is, the way you make someone feel during a conversation creates emotional memory. If your words carry judgment, people build walls. If your words carry understanding, people open doors. Let's make this real. Imagine someone is sharing a story about something embarrassing. Most listeners either laugh or try to fix it. But the person who listens quietly and says, "That must have been hard for you," becomes unforgettable. Why? Because in a world full of noise, empathy feels like peace. The moment you speak with compassion instead of competition, you're not just talking. You're connecting emotionally, biochemically, psychologically. That's the secret language of intimacy. The kind that says, you don't need to be perfect here. You just need to be real. One of the biggest mistakes people make in modern relationships is going all in, too fast, too soon. They give everything emotionally before trust is built, and then wonder why the connection fades. But attraction needs both, safety and mystery. Safety keeps someone emotionally grounded. Mystery keeps curiosity alive. You don't build desire by oversharing. You build it by allowing the other person to discover you slowly. Think of it like reading a good book. You don't skip to the last chapter. You turn each page because it makes you feel something. That's how real connection works. When you leave space for someone to wonder, you create emotional gravity, the pull that keeps them coming back. Mystery doesn't mean manipulation, it means having emotional depth. It means you're not seeking validation, you're offering value. And people can feel that difference. Curiosity keeps attraction alive, but emotional depth keeps it meaningful. Let's make this personal with a story, because stories stick longer than advice. Daniel was the kind of guy who thought confidence meant dominance. He spoke loudly, acted certain, and thought control meant strength. But no matter how many people he dated, the connection always felt shallow. Then he met Maya, She was calm, thoughtful, and emotionally aware. At first, he tried to impress her with charm and humor. She smiled but stayed distant. One evening, she said something that changed him. "You're always talking, Daniel, but you never actually listen." That hit him, because deep down, he knew she was right. He wanted to connect, but he was performing instead of being present. So he tried something new. He listened, not to reply, not to impress, just to understand. Over the next few weeks, something shifted. Maya started opening up. Her laughter came easier, her tone softened, and for the first time, Daniel felt seen too. That's when he realized real intimacy isn't about knowing the right moves, it's about understanding the right emotions. He didn't need to be louder, he just needed to be real. You can't fake real chemistry. You can copy words, mimic behavior, even mirror someone's body language. But energy doesn't lie. There's something invisible that happens when two people emotionally align. It's not about looks or logic, it's about resonance. When someone feels genuinely seen and accepted, their guard drops. Their tone softens, their heartbeat steadies, their laughter becomes effortless. That's when desire naturally grows, not from pressure, but from peace. You see, what most people call attraction is actually emotional safety mixed with curiosity. It's the comfort to be yourself and the thrill of being understood at the same time. That's why some conversations feel like therapy, while others feel like noise. When you're with the right person, you don't have to pretend. You just are. And that's what makes it powerful. Real connection isn't built in a moment. It's built in the silence between words when both hearts listen. Let's go deeper. When we talk about desire, most people only focus on the physical. But science says the real action happens in the mind. When someone feels emotionally connected, the brain releases dopamine, the reward chemical. When they feel safe, oxytocin, the trust hormone, starts to flow. And when they feel respected, serotonin creates stability and peace. These three work together to form emotional bonding. That's what makes intimacy powerful. It's not just what you do, it's how the other person's brain interprets what you do. So when you're kind, patient, or attentive, you're literally changing the chemistry in someone's mind. You're creating comfort, curiosity, and confidence. The 3 C's of lasting attraction. No game, no manipulation, just awareness. And that's what separates emotional maturity from temporary infatuation. Attraction without understanding fades, but attraction built on emotional intelligence grows stronger with time. Here's something few people realize. Confidence isn't about being loud, it's about being still. True confidence comes from inner calm, from knowing that you don't need to chase attention because your presence already speaks for you. People can feel that calm energy. When you enter a room with quiet assurance, it tells others you're emotionally stable, grounded, and aware. And stability is sexy. In a world where everyone's anxious, the one who's calm becomes magnetic. This is what I call the quiet fire effect. You don't burn bright to impress. You burn steady, and people feel safe in your warmth. So if you want to spark someone's desire, don't just look confident. Be at peace with yourself. When your energy says, "I'm comfortable in my own space," it gives others permission to relax into yours. That's emotional chemistry. That's attraction without effort. The most underrated part of attraction is understanding. When you take time to notice small things, the way someone avoids eye contact when nervous, the way they smile differently when they're proud, the way their tone shifts when they feel safe, you begin to connect with their emotional rhythm. Understanding someone is like learning their emotional language. And once you speak that language, everything changes. Because most people aren't looking for perfection. They're looking for peace, for presence, for someone who actually gets them. You don't need fancy words or perfect timing. You just need sincerity, patience, and awareness. And that's what makes someone unforgettable. Because emotional intimacy lasts longer than physical spark. It's the kind of connection that stays with you, even in silence. When you truly understand someone, desire becomes more than a moment, it becomes a memory that breathes. Here's the truth no one really says out loud. Desire isn't just about attraction, it's about understanding. Anyone can make you feel excited for a moment, but only a few can make you feel seen. And that's what real desire is. It's the feeling of being understood without needing to explain yourself. It's when someone looks at you and you feel your guard melt away. It's when silence doesn't feel awkward anymore. That's when attraction stops being chemistry and starts becoming connection. When both people feel safe, they stop trying to impress and start being present. Desire built on that foundation doesn't fade. It evolves, deepens, strengthens with time. So if you want to create something real, start with listening, empathy, and honesty. That's the spark that never burns out. You don't fall in love through touch. You fall in love through understanding. Maybe you've been taught that attraction is a trick, a game you have to play. Real connection isn't created through strategy. It's created through emotional intelligence, through patience, awareness, and respect. When you understand how emotions work, you stop chasing love. You start creating it. So here's what I want you to remember after watching this. Confidence isn't noise. It's calm energy. Communication isn't talking. It's listening with intent. Opened your eyes or made you think differently about connection? Take a second to share it, leave a comment, or tell me what part hit home for you. Your words might inspire someone who needs to hear this message next. Because when we understand love, we don't just change our relationships, we change the way we live. I'm Dr. Nova, and this was your reminder that understanding is the new attraction. Stay kind, stay aware, and I'll see you in the next talk. There's a quiet truth that most people overlook. We chase connection like it's a prize to win, but real connection doesn't need chasing. It needs awareness. Awareness of how someone feels, of what your energy brings into the room, of how your words can either open hearts or build walls. That awareness is where attraction truly begins. Think about it. The people who make us feel drawn to them aren't always the loudest or the most confident. They're the ones who make us feel safe to be ourselves. They listen without judgment, they respond with intention, and they make you feel like you matter in that moment. That's emotional awareness. It's rare, but unforgettable. When you reach that level of understanding, you stop worrying about how to attract and start learning how to connect. Because attraction fades when it's built on surface energy, but connection grows when it's built on emotional depth. So if you want to be unforgettable, learn to feel before you speak. Learn to see before you judge. Learn to understand before you react. That's what makes people remember you long after you leave. Understanding is the most intimate act there is. When you truly understand someone, their fears, their triggers, their dreams, you connect with a part of them that most people never touch. That's deeper than attraction. That's recognition, communication. It's saying, I see who you are beyond your words. And in that moment, something powerful happens. Trust. Trust is the foundation of every lasting connection. Without it, even the strongest chemistry fades. With it, even silence feels like communication. Understanding someone isn't about fixing them, it's about holding space for them to be real. And when both people do that for each other, that's when connection turns into something sacred. When understanding enters the room, ego walks out. Attraction isn't about what you do to someone, it's about what you bring out in them. When your energy brings peace, not pressure. When your presence brings comfort, not confusion. That's when people feel safe enough to let their true selves appear. And that's the ultimate key. People are most beautiful when they feel safe. So stop trying to impress, start trying to understand. Stop trying to control, start trying to connect. Stop trying to be perfect, start trying to be present. That's how you build something real. That's how you spark desire that isn't momentary, but meaningful. The deepest connections are born not from desire, but from understanding. And as always, if this talk helped you see love, connection, or attraction in a deeper way, make sure you hit that subscribe button and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Because we don't grow through shortcuts, we grow through awareness. And the more we understand ourselves, the better we love others. This is Dr. Nova reminding you that love is not found in intensity, but in understanding. Take a breath, be present.